Hey guys, so today I'm here to do the birth story for Miss Aerilee. I was originally going to include this in her Meet Aerilee because it was short, but then it ended up not being short, which is why I'm wearing the same exact outfit because I filmed it at the same time. So about 4 p.m. on April 10th, I started having contractions. They were super consistent at first, but then at night they kind of died down and they never got really painful. A little uncomfortable, but not painful. Revelin is right here if you hear her babbling. And so I decided to just go to sleep, and that next day, April 11th, was my scheduled induction date. So we decided to just go in at that time. And so at 7:15, I went into the hospital with my husband, and they checked me. I was at a 3, I think it was. So I had progressed. I wasn't obviously in active labor or anything, but I was at a 3, and I was 80% effaced, I think. But my contractions, they were happening, but they weren't consistent enough, so they did start me on Pitocin, and then they broke my waters, I think at 9:30 a.m. And I ordered the epidural because they said that the anesthesiologist was super booked, and so it'd probably be an hour before he was there. And I knew that probably in that time, it was gonna get super painful. And so we went ahead and booked him, and he ended up only taking 10 minutes. And so when he showed up, I wasn't even really in pain, but because of the way it worked, I had to still get it at that point. And so I was like, all right, whatever, we'll just get it done now. But it was a good thing that we did because of how quickly it progressed. Well, not really, it didn't matter in the long run, which you'll know in a minute. So the epidural had kicked in and I couldn't feel my legs. The pain started to go away except on the very right lower side. And it just wouldn't stop. And so at 11:50 though is when it started getting really painful, and I noticed I could move my legs again and such. And so I was like, you need to phone the nurse because something's wrong, the epidural's not working, I don't know why. And so he went ahead and phoned the nurse. She came in and checked me, and she's like, well, you're ready to push a baby out. And so in a matter of an hour, I had gone from 4 centimeters to fully dilated, ready to push. And my epidural was not working. And so the way it seems that it worked out was it kind of seemed like my body was metabolizing the epidural. I had a different type of epidural this time than I did with Revelin. There's 2 different medications I guess they can use, and they said it just kind of depends on the anesthesiologist which one they prefer. So I had a different one this time, and apparently my body just metabolized it. So that's why it was working at first, and then it just slowly started to dwindle off. Now mind you, I had pressed the button to try and get more medicine, and it wasn't doing anything. So basically the epidural just didn't work. So my husband Ryan very quickly texted my sister-in-law, our sister-in-law, and told her she needed to get to the hospital now or she was going to miss the baby being born, because Revelin took me about 20 minutes to push out. So we knew Aerie would likely be quicker because that's usually the way it works. The more babies you have, the quicker you push them out. So basically, in the time he texted Katie, which was right after she said, you're ready to push, 18 minutes later we had a baby. I think they said I pushed for 11 minutes. I only had 1 or 2 pushes after the time they finally got the bed into place. The bed wasn't even fully into place, right before Aerie was born and I pushed her out. She had me doing practice pushes, which were more like real pushes, because Aerie was already in the birth canal, ready to come out, and it didn't take me very many pushes at all. It probably took less than 10 pushes or something to get her out. So I sort of kind of experienced a natural delivery. I had a little bit of numbness, and so I did feel her coming out, but really the only pain was the contractions. When I pushed, the contraction pain went away. It's almost like pushing is the natural epidural. So that was nice. Because the epidural wasn't working, I was nervous that I was going to feel the pain of her coming out. I even tore, I had a 2nd-degree tear, and that wasn't bad at all either. I had a feeling in my legs. I could walk the second after I gave birth. They came to get me out of the bed, and so they put me on this thing. If you've had a baby, then you know what I'm talking about. They bring this cart for you to stand on to bring you to the bathroom, and I had no problem getting on that. And then after I got myself completely dressed, put my shoes on, got into the wheelchair without an issue at all. And with Revelin, I couldn't walk for 3 hours after. Probably more than that actually. And when the nurse came back in and saw me holding Aerie with my shoes and my clothes on in the wheelchair, she was like, you shouldn't be able to get dressed. I'm like, well, I told you guys the epidural didn't work. And so yeah, it was a fun and unexpected delivery. My sister-in-law was not able to get there in time to take pictures or anything. And thankfully Ryan like set up the camera so we got like footage for our birth vlog because Katie was going to get that for us as well. But we had like no pictures of the actual delivery because she came very unexpectedly. So that's the birth story for Aerilee. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you give it a thumbs up because that helps out my channel. And then I will see you guys next week as always. Bye.
We're on our way home from dinner. Well, we're on our way to my parents to get the kids.
Lately, especially the
Sometimes I feel phantom kicks. Like that I have a baby in my stomach.
Oh yeah?
I heard about it. I thought people were crazy, so I never experienced it after Evelyn. But now...
It's kind of like the phantom phone. Where it feels like it vibrated but it didn't. And you check it and you're like, I swear it just...